Last week, a whistleblower named David Grush came forward claiming that the U.S. government has spent decades secretly recovering intact vehicles and partial fragments that weren't made by humans. Now, normally a story like this would be shunned as quackery by the press, but instead this story was widely circulated across mainstream media. Grush even sat down for a long-form interview with News Nation. Watch this clip.
For the first time, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone.
Claims that our government has proof of alien life.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number. Some are landed, some are crashed.
Allegations of a secret government program that has hidden the truth, the technology, from the world.
There's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral, and it's totally frightening.
From Roswell to the present day.
We're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
There are non-prosaic cases, 100% unexplainable. I mean, this is like tangible technical craft they're seeing.
Is this decorated officer a liar?
Why should we believe you?
A fool?
Is it possible that you're deluding yourself?
Or a hero?
I'm a patriot, and I believe in truth to power in this.
We're talking about the biggest secret in human history.
We are not alone. The UFO whistleblower speaks.
Okay, so we're going to talk more about Grush's claims, but before we do, I want to talk about this other story because days later, another story began circulating in the news that, again, otherwise wouldn't have. A teen in Las Vegas claimed an alien spacecraft crash landed in his backyard where he then saw 8 to 10 foot tall aliens. Now, I want to play for you his entire account. It's about 7 minutes long, but this is going to allow you to see all the evidence, and because he does a really good job of putting it together, and then you can judge for yourself. Here it is.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is my first video. I'm here to tell you what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I'm trying to explain the best of my abilities. This is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not making this story out for clout or fame. I just want to tell you what happened to me and my family. And I know some people are not gonna believe this, but each person is different. So this is what happened to me. Keep in mind, this is midnight and I'm fixing a truck in my backyard. At this point, I'm only with my brother and I hear something fall from the sky. I turn around, the only thing I see is a big light falling from the sky, and moments after, I feel a big impact and a bang, sort of like a big impact fall. And me and my brother looked at each other and we were scared, but when the impact happened, it was sort of like a shock wave. Like an out-of-body experience. So to say, when I tried to look at the object, it was all blurry, not my vision, but only the backyard area. And I hear thousands of footsteps around me, and maybe a couple seconds later, the blurriness was gone. And here's the footage of the body, the police officer's body cam, and here's the object I'm referring to, the light. Video. Here's a Ring camera video. You can hear the bang. This is around the neighborhood. So here's the video. So when that happened, the only thing I can see in the backyard is a tall creature, probably around 8-10 feet tall, very thin. So I called my dad. He went to the backyard and he saw the same thing, the same creature I saw. He told me to go inside the house. At this point, we all freaking out, me and my family. And here's the video where we were in the backyard area. You cannot see it too good, but on camera, but it's there. Here's the video.
¡Ay! ¡Permisar! Calmundarela, me canceles var eso. Cáelo, cherro, que chidica. Cáelo, cherro.
Moments after the video, me and my brother went to go pick up my tools. Then my brother calls me, and he told me shakingly, "Look behind the forklift." So I look. Keep in mind, I'm facing the forklift, and then I see the alien creature. So when I saw it, it was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature. He was a gray, greenish color, and when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze. Like the same experience as having sleep paralysis. Keep in mind, I'm staring at him, and I look at his whole body, and he has a weird looking feet and a big face and eyes, and you can see a big mouth. And I could hear his loud, deep breathing, and I could see his stomach moving. He would just stare at me. Seconds later, I could start moving again. And I start running towards the house. That's when I call 911, and here's the 911 call.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we're terrified of it.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the police to come, and you could hear footsteps in the backyard area, and a loud whispering, like you could hear whisperings. We were in the living room area, and you could hear footsteps on the roof. So we waited a little bit for the police. When they arrived, I told them what I saw, and they were kind of freaked out. Here's the body cam of the officer.
Now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro...
So they went in the backyard, and one of the officers pointed at the floor, and it was a perfect circle. Here's a photo of the circle I'm referring to. Keep in mind, 2 officers came in my house, and one of them started running to his car, driving around the neighborhood, asking passing cars if they saw a light.
What's clear, they're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
Goosebumps and freaking out. He started investigating that he told me his partner, she saw a light falling from the sky. He told me he believes me because her partner reported that she saw the same light as me. Now we're walking the front yard. Then the other officer came here. Here's a video of him talking to my family.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So,
moments before they left, one of the officers told me, if I see the thing again, to don't call him, just shoot him. And you can hear in the video. Here's the video.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So they left, and we went inside the house, and we started praying. As we're praying, you can hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard. This is what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I hope you guys kind of understand what happened to me. I know it's hard to believe, but I saw what I saw, and it's kind of going viral. That's why I'm here to explain the story. I did an interview with journalist Doc Papa. I'm going to put his video in the description. I'm going to make a part 2 of the stuff that happened after May 1st, and thank you for watching the video.
Okay, so you know, I feel for him. I'm sure he really believes what he saw. I think a lot of people believe what they see when they see, you know, there's thousands upon thousands of people who say they've seen aliens. But there's a lot of holes in this particular story. First of all, a crash landing by some sort of UFO would not just leave a circle in the backyard, you know, an outline of a circle, it would actually cause a crater and there'd be massive amounts of damage. We saw how quickly that light was moving, how fast that was moving. So that would have been a massive amount of impact that would have then caused a massive amount of damage. In fact, probably his house would have been destroyed and maybe several other houses around. Quite a bit of homes in that area would be damaged, would be my guess. Also, where did these 10-foot aliens then go? I mean, if their UFO, if their craft was damaged in a crash landing, which that in and of itself, it's difficult to, you know, if there's this aliens that are from far away who are so sophisticated, who can make it all the way to Earth, you would think that they would at least then not crash, you know, that it wouldn't result in a crash of some kind. I mean, of course, you know, shit happens whenever you're flying things. I'm sure aliens don't have it completely right. And I want to preface all this by saying I do believe in aliens. I do believe that there's life out there. And I believe they probably have maybe, you know, I like to think that maybe they've come and visited us, and maybe there are some spacecrafts that have been obtained by the military, maybe. But, you know, I keep a very open mind on that. But I think some of these sightings are not. This one in particular, I just don't really believe. Where did these 10-foot tall aliens then disappear to? Other people would have seen them as they ran through neighborhoods trying to run for cover or figure it out, unless they got beamed up, you know, by some other spacecraft up in the sky. Or where did their aircraft go if it crashed? Or did they just get back into it and they were like, whoops, wrong spot, and then they took back off into space? I don't know. There's a lot of holes in this. And maybe it was just humans in suits. And this sort of takes us back to David Grush and even Dr. Stephen Greer. Now, Dr. Stephen Greer, I've interviewed him on this show. He's the father of the disclosure movement, and he asserts that most of the UFO aircrafts that people are seeing are actually government aircraft, that these are very, very dark operations that are completely shadow government operations that even our own government bodies don't know anything about, that they're black ops sort of manufacturing and scientific research. And so he asserts that these are mostly military tests and that the military has gotten their hands on some of the technology from alien aircraft that did come to Earth and has crash landed or landed and they were somehow captured, and that the military has this sort of technology and that they've been testing it. And the reason why they're not allowing it to be public is because if the U.S. military makes public the technology, that it would completely change the world, that it would halt the way some large industries like the energy industry makes money. It's a very fascinating conversation. If you haven't checked it out on my channel yet, definitely watch. It was a long-form interview with Dr. Stephen Greer. And actually, even today, just coincidentally, today was the day that Dr. Stephen Greer did a big press conference, a big national press conference in D.C. There's an entire disclosure event. It's about 3 hours long. It live streamed. You can actually go onto YouTube and watch that. And that is where a lot of the people in this disclosure event said many of the things that actually the whistleblower claims. So the whistleblower, David Grush, is saying a lot of the same things that Dr. Stephen Greer and many of his other whistleblowers are stating, which is that the government has access to these aircrafts. They're using them. They're testing them. They're gathering the science from them. And it's all happening in this shadowy government that we're not familiar with. Okay, so it's difficult for any of us to prove whether or not any of this is true, right? This is where the conundrum goes in. And many people are pointing to all of this with now the mainstream media picking it up. Now we're seeing this uptick in interest from members of Congress. And now the government is saying, well, yeah, okay, there are such things as UFOs. And yeah, okay, there are some non-human spacecraft. You know, they're starting to admit this stuff. And so people are saying, what in the world? Why is the government now suddenly admitting this after spending decades upon decades of smearing people as loony when they claim that they saw alien aircraft? Well, is this some sort of PsyOp? After all, there is a space force now that has been created, and we know that the military loves nothing more than another space race of some kind or military-industrial complex endeavor that allows them to manufacture lots of weapons and scare the hell out of people, keeping people in a position where they feel like, help us, big military, help us. And perhaps all of this is just a PsyOp. After all, we know that when it came to the COVID pandemic, for example, that all the mainstream media, all the local media outlets, they said, take the vaccine or else you're a grandma killer. And they all got in line with that same one narrative because they were bought and paid off by the big manufacturers of medicines, big pharmaceutical companies that wanted them to say a certain thing. So perhaps now the news media is being co-opted again by the military-industrial complex, big companies that have a lot of money to make in the industry of scaring the living daylights out of you into believing that aliens are coming and that they're aggressive. I mean, maybe this kid, let's just say he is telling the truth. Well, if that's the case, then these aliens weren't aggressive at all. I mean, if they're 10 feet tall, they could have definitely overpowered him, taken him, killed him, abducted him. They didn't do any of that. So I think a big question is whether or not this is a PsyOp. But I want to point out this particular tweet. This is Eric Weinstein, and he makes a really good point. He says, either way you slice this, this is a huge problem. Because this is either, he says, we have either a paranormal cult running around our nuclear strategy, a disinformation campaign targeting our own people, or something unprecedented kept away from our own scientists. You don't need to know which is true to know that this needs to be cleaned up pronto, okay? So he's right. If this is all true and the government's been covering it up, then what the hell? Or if the government is using this as a PsyOp in order to build more nukes and to beef up the military, what the hell, right? Or this is a disinformation campaign to keep us all in fear, more fear, to keep us under control. What the hell? All of it just kind of boils down to, we got a big problem. And the problem seems to be the government and how they're handling all of this, whether they be using it to build up a big military or they've been hiding this from our scientists. All of it leads us to think, what the hell when it comes to our government. So we will do more and talk more about these alien sightings and about the rhetoric that's ramping up. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to believe. I definitely keep an open mind with it. I think that there's a big, vast universe out there. It's implausible in my mind to think that we're alone. It's very narcissistic to think that too. Oh, we're alone. It's just us. There's nobody else. And I would like to think that there's maybe other civilizations out there that are extremely advanced technologically. And maybe they're even so advanced they can make it to other planets. I would love to believe all of the things that I've seen from Dr. Stephen Greer that says that these aliens are here to help stop us from nuclear annihilation. I think that's a wonderful thing. And I would love it if that's what they're doing. But I don't know. But I keep an open mind. But one thing I don't keep an open mind about is our government and their agenda to just make gobs and gobs of money off of the military-industrial complex. Right now, I'm somebody who doesn't sleep well, and my 11-year-old shepherd is getting older and has some aches and pains. This is why I looked into cbdistillery.com for a natural way to help me get some sleep and to give my furry family member the relief that she needs. CB Distillery has over 2 million satisfied customers. 90% of customers reported that they sleep better with CBD. 81% said CBD helps them with stress. 80% said CBD helps with aches and pains after physical activity. So if you struggle to get a good night's sleep, if you're dealing with too much stress and could use a little calm in your life, if you suffer with pain and discomfort, especially after physical exercise, then try CBD from the source I trust. That is cbdistillery.com. And you're going to get 20% off your order when you enter my name, Kim, at checkout. There is no prescription required for these products. That is cbdistillery.com. Use that promo code Kim for 20% off.